Now there's a problem here.
John
St. Croix, I'm sorry.
Executive Director. Yeah, and John is right. I mean, that's another example of things gone awry in the Ethics Commission. So then I would just come and say, the way to deal with that, to get rid of, you know, the arm is diseased, so you chop it off? Or do you try to heal it first?
Sometimes.
This specific one, yes.
Okay, Paul was next to the Mark.
I was glad to hear that Joe was open to the second idea of sending a message to the Ethics Commission that they had to get its priorities straight with enforcement, because it's inherent in any enforcement agency that you have limited resources, so you have to use good judgment and prosecutorial discretion. And the fundamental purpose of the Ethics Commission is to prevent the corruption of local officials by large amounts of money, campaign contribution and lobbying money. So what you need to do is pick your cases where there is a large enough amount of money going to the system that it's going to affect the vote of a supervisor or what the mayor does. And going after technical violations of people who have no chance of ever getting elected or influencing anybody at City Hall is just a waste of time.
Exactly.
That's true. Mark?
Yeah, in 2005, we did a charter amendment that failed 2-1. It would give ethics a good deal more funding. The major concern we heard in the clubs was that people felt that ethics enforcement was really poorly focused. But Rebecca Silverberg was on that list as well with the other people, just someone who, you know, was no real threat to the system yet got overdue enforcement action. I think the problem here is that you're not going to find your 3 votes at the commission. So until we can figure out a way to get 3 votes there, I don't see it happening. The only way that we can talk with our political power in place to the commission is the budget process, where you go through and you say, okay, take away this budget element, and when you come back with money back, show us how you're going to do it right. I mean, you have nothing budget to look at when they send these political aspirations. The entire, you know, elements that have been articulated towards something needs to send. Where he's going, who knows, but that's what's happening now, and that's part of that team, and the only tool we have is kind of budget.
So I'm going to propose that we hear from Robert and Gary, and then we let Eileen speak about what she wanted to speak to us about. And then hopefully not too far from now, we hear from our supervisors. Does that sound doable?
Yeah.
Robert?
Yeah, just comment on your comment that John Rizzo made about Oliver Luby, who is actually one of the city workers that would be targeted for the type of layoffs that you're proposing. So I would just say that he's a shop steward in my union. We represent the frontline staff in the Ethics Commission. They're some of the best people I've ever met. And so penalizing them when at the end of the day it's a policy decision at the top about what's going on doesn't seem to me to make a lot of sense. So, I mean, I would just say I appreciate that people are like, well, they're not doing their job, but the problem isn't at the bottom with the frontline workers, the problem's at the top. So don't penalize the people at the bottom, throw them on the street just because you're mad at the people at the top. Right?
I have a question. Isn't it true that the staff and not the commissioners pick the case to be heard? Basically, yes. The staff does, when a complaint, for example, is presented to the commission, the staff then does an initial investigation to determine if it has merit and if it can move through the process. So the commission doesn't get involved until later on. That just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem ethical. Yeah.
So Eileen, you have some things you would like to get the Mill Club to sign on to that I actually think would be unobjectionable to pretty much everyone in the room, right?
That would be great. And I will really just give you a couple of minutes about this. This is the segue into what can you do, how do you get involved in the budget process. I would, first of all, I would love it if the Mill Club could just list the Ethics Commission meetings on your website so that if people are interested in this kind of an issue, you know when they are. You can access the agenda. I mean, you can certainly go to SF.gov, ethics, and get our agendas and see what's coming up. But I think part of the problem is, as I talked about...
Let me figure out how to...
Okay, all right. Part of the problem to the Ethics Commission and other people are not at all.
Most people aren't.
are not paying enough attention to the Ethics Commission. So when I talk about, initially when I got appointed to the commission, certain people were paying attention. It wasn't us. It was people who were trying to get me off, who were hoping not to get me appointed. If we don't get involved, if we don't advocate for ethics in terms of the budget, in terms of certain policies and priorities, it's never going to happen. There are 5 of us on the Ethics Commission. I was appointed by the Board of Supervisors. The other 4 people are appointed by the mayor, the assessor recorder, the district attorney, the city attorney. I have a very hard time getting one vote to support my position on the Ethics Commission. Without the public participation, without people feeling like when I express an opinion, it doesn't just come from me, but it comes from all of you, I can't get very far. So that's one thing, and I appreciate that quickness around that. So getting involved, I know the stuff is arcane and you got a million things going on, so coming to meetings, writing stuff, not that easy to do, but it would be enormously helpful if I could partner with you all in moving some of this stuff forward.